In this nerdy world, it takes its shape from the minds of icons and the fans that inhabit it. In this episode, we investigate one of gaming's most prolific creators of some of the most beautiful music to ever grace a video game console. Icon name, Nobuo Uematsu. Claim to fame, former head musician and composer, now freelancer for Square Enix. Has composed music for such games as the Final Fantasy series, Chrono Trigger, Blue Dragon, Lost Odyssey, the main theme for Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and oddly enough, the theme for Tokyo Twilight Ghost Hunters Daybreak Special Gigs, a game I've reviewed on this channel. And the founder of two production companies, Please Smile and Dog Ear Records. Uematsu was born in Kochi, Japan on March 21st, 1959. He took up learning piano on his own after his sister, who also plays piano, took him to a concert around the age of 11, though his first instrument in fact was a harmonica. When he got older, he went to Kanagawa University and majored in English. After college, he played in several amateur bands, and with no formal training in the music field, he found it impossible to find a job making music, aside from music for commercials and eventually video games. In 1985, Uematsu, while working in a music shop, was approached by a friend about a side job making video game music, which turned out to be for the game development company Squaresoft, and eventually Square Enix. Sometime between 1986 and 87, he met a fortune teller that told him, "Soon, something will happen that will change your life." 2 weeks later, he met Hironobu Sakaguchi, the soon-to-be father of Final Fantasy. Sakaguchi asked Uematsu to provide music for his games, though it wasn't until Final Fantasy was conceived when the two met with great success. In fact, the Final Fantasy theme that appears one way or another in every Final Fantasy property, the music I'm using for this video, was literally created and completed in 10 minutes when Sakaguchi came to him desperately in need of a theme for one of his games. The first Final Fantasy. It's very lucky for Sakaguchi that, according to Uematsu, prides himself in being an in the heat of the moment kind of person. Since he is a self-taught musician and composer, his musical style is extremely broad and covers a varying level of instruments and techniques. For example, he's founded 3 different music groups that each play a different style of music. He had founded the Black Mages, a very heavy metal instrumental band. The band's name is a big nod to Uematsu's Final Fantasy origins, and the band itself is famous for metalifying classic Final Fantasy instrumentals, and his fans loved him for it. And even helped create the soundtrack for the movie Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, the movie sequel to the ever-so-popular and beloved Final Fantasy VII. But after the mixed reception of the third and final album, they disbanded. I myself remember crying that day. But that only inspired Uematsu to form a new progressive rock band called the Earthbound Papas. And what did this band play? Well, mostly Final Fantasy music again, but this time with a much less hardcore metal vibe to it. And his third band? It is called the Uematsu Quartet, a group made of him and 3 friends, and they apparently play Renaissance-like music via the recorder. You know, that annoying flute thing that we would annoy our parents with when we were younger. Uematsu's career has many accolades and pretty much reshaped how people approach video game music to this day. He even created the first video game battle theme to feature a chorus, the theme of that horrible soldier, the one-winged angel, Sephiroth. And that one is a big personal favorite of mine. He has said time and time again that his childhood influences all of his music. Orchestra and piano music are a huge source of inspiration for him, but he also draws inspiration from Elton John and Pink Floyd. And Uematsu is actually a huge Elton John fan. But whether or not you realize it, if you've played a game by Squaresoft or Square Enix, you've most likely heard his music, especially in the Final Fantasy franchise. His music has a way about itself when it comes to setting tones and moods to video games. Aerith's theme from Final Fantasy VII is beautiful yet melancholy, which is very much how her character comes off. And Kefka's final boss theme from Final Fantasy VI instills a sense of doom and intimidation with its haunting organs that play the whole time in the background. And to top it all off, the song is virtually a 4-part symphony that seamlessly changes over to the next part of the song as you defeat each of Kefka's forms. But even with all this hard work and innovation under his belt, to this day he doesn't see making music as his job, but simply as fun. So to quote this icon, I hope there will eventually come a day to where I can prove that music from video games can move people on a personal level. Well, in my opinion, Nobuo Uematsu, you've already proven that, and thank you for shaping the nerd world, sir. Hello folks, J-Foo here, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of Nerd World Icons, about Nobuo Uematsu. If you're interested in any of his music, any of the songs I've mentioned here today, like Kefka's theme, Sephiroth's theme, you will find links to videos to listen to that music down below in the description. And with that being said folks, I'll see you guys on the other side. Bye!